Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Carriaga, and I'm also honored to be here addressing you on behalf of my fellow cohort of the Marriage and Family Therapy Program. I wanted to share a little bit about my background with you. I grew up in Cerritos, California, a small city in Los Angeles County. My brother and I are sons of immigrants' parents from the Philippines. They worked long hours and overtime to provide my brother and I with whatever we wanted, and some things that we didn't want, like a private Catholic education for 12 years. Despite their hard work and sacrifice, we still managed to really screw up, especially during the hours between 2 and 6 p.m. when they were working their overtime. I was jumped into our neighborhood gang at the age of 15. By 17, I was snorting lines of cocaine and addicted to crystal methamphetamine. A few weeks before my high school graduation, I woke up in a hospital from a beating that I took while I was drunk. Although I was afraid to leave everything that I loved, I convinced my parents that going away would be in my best interest for my personal safety. So what did I do as a drug addict? I moved to Oahu, the ice capital of the world at the time, in 1997. Of course, I didn't know that at the time, and luckily, I only had like 2 friends. They were Punahou graduates, so I was pretty safe. And since my grades in high school were pretty poor, I went to Leeward Community College, and I took some remedial courses in math. And over there, I met some friends that happened to be potheads, and we did a lot of hiking, diving, and bodyboarding. I decided to do things differently when I moved here. I joined a Filipino martial arts class to learn more about my culture. I sought out new hobbies, new experiences, and new ideas. It took me 5 years, but I graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a certificate in substance abuse and addiction studies from UH West Oahu in 2002. And now I stand here with my cohort, about to receive my master's degree in marriage and family therapy. It's been a long road, but throughout that experience, I noticed a prevalent feeling that continues to be with me to this very moment. That feeling is fear. Most people that I have come into contact with are reluctant to talk about fear, especially with people that they don't know very well or trust. It's a subject that we reserve for those closest to us, such as a friend, a family member, priest, or maybe a therapist. Often this discussion takes place in a secluded private area. I completely understand this, I get it. Who likes feeling vulnerable and open to the opinions and judgments of others, as I do now? I met my wife when we were both 13 years old. I felt fear when I asked her out that very first time. I felt the same way when I told her that I had to leave her to move to Hawaii when we were just 17. I always had a fear of losing her. During the beginning of the program, I married her. And again, I was afraid that I wasn't good enough for her. Near the end of the program, when it was really tough, we had our son Isaiah. And every day, I fear for his safety when I'm gone or at work. More recently, I saw fear in myself and in my cohort, especially when we were taking our comprehensive exam. And when we found out for the first time that our first therapy sessions would be videotaped and open to scrutiny by our professors. I was at work this past Monday, and I received a voice message. It was from Dr. Siebert, the program chair of our program, the program chair of the Marriage and Family Therapy Program. His message was simple. He simply asked if I wouldn't mind speaking at this graduation ceremony. Immediately, my stomach began to turn from that familiar feeling of fear. And my instinctual fight or flight response was initiated. As my mind quickly accessed its vast database of excuses, I realized something very important. I realized that fear has always motivated me to prepare, to take action, and to take risks. I never allowed it to paralyze me. In the past, I dealt with it through escape, whether it was drugs, alcohol, or an ideological belief that I clung to. As I got older, I stopped wanting to escape. I knew that if I ever wanted to be free from fear, I had to learn about it. I had to come into daily contact with it and look at it carefully. So I started paying attention to how I love, to how I hate, to how I talk to my wife, or how I confront a stranger. For me, fear has been an ongoing process of self-revelation. It has served as a mirror to show me exactly what I'm made of during times of adversity. I just wanted to remind my fellow cohort today, and those listening, that knowing ourselves is the best way to know those who we wish to serve. Their fears are just like ours, only intensified. My hope is that we continue to step into our power despite the fear, and model this example to those who we seek to help. I want to thank my cohort for putting up with my antics in class, especially TJ, who I feel a strong bond with and have so much in common, since our wives are both named Kelly. And I want to thank Dr. Siebert, Joy Quick, Barbara Mullen, and Bill Setti for always saying the right words to get me back in focus. Thank you to all my friends that made it here today. My brother, for always looking out for me since we were kids. My parents for giving me the ultimate gift, love without conditions. And my wife, Kelly, for your incomparable love, for staying with me and supporting me through all the craziness. And last but not least, my son, Isaiah, for beautifully putting me in my parents' shoes. Thank you.